Betty Ford, 13 Scandalous and Remarkable Moments of the First Lady's Life. Betty Ford, the First Lady of the United States from 1974 to 1977, is remembered not only for her role as a political spouse but also for her outspoken nature, which often led to controversy. However, her candidness on various issues brought several taboo subjects into the national conversation. Here are 13 moments from her life that were either shocking, groundbreaking, or simply unforgettable. Fact number 1. Open admission of addiction. In an era where discussing personal issues, especially addiction, was shrouded in stigma, Betty Ford took the bold step of publicly admitting her struggles. It was in 1978, a year after leaving the White House, that Ford's family confronted her about her alcoholism and addiction to opioid painkillers, which she began using for a pinched nerve. This confrontation led to what is now known as an intervention. By opening up about her dependencies, she not only sought help for herself but also began to break the societal stigma surrounding addiction. Her openness about her challenges inspired countless Americans to confront their own addictions and seek help. Number 2. Establishment of the Betty Ford Center. Recognizing the lack of resources for people battling substance abuse and being personally affected by the constraints of existing treatments, Betty Ford played a pivotal role in the creation of the Betty Ford Center in Rancho Mirage, California, in 1982. Situated within the Eisenhower Medical Center, the facility quickly became a leading U.S. institution for substance dependence treatment. Her dedication to the cause ensured that the center maintained its mission to provide effective treatment services for alcohol and other drug dependencies. The center has since treated thousands of patients, including many celebrities, and has set a gold standard in addiction therapy. Number 3. Controversial stance on marijuana. During her tenure as First Lady, Betty Ford was known for her candid and forthright nature, which was on full display during her controversial admission about marijuana. In a 1975 interview with McCall's magazine, when asked about marijuana, she stated that if she were young and it was customary, she'd probably have tried it. This statement was quite audacious for its time, given the Nixon administration's fierce war on drugs and the prevailing public sentiment. Her candidness on this issue, among others, made her a somewhat controversial figure but also endeared her to many who admired her honesty. Number 4. Open dialogue on premarital sex. Betty Ford's openness about personal and sensitive subjects was often surprising, especially given the era in which she served as First Lady. During her time in the White House, she didn't shy away from discussing topics that were often considered taboo. In a 1975 interview with Morley Safer of CBS's 60 Minutes, she made headlines when she candidly stated she would not be surprised if her young adult children were having premarital sex, emphasizing that times were changing. While this statement was shocking to many conservatives and a significant portion of the general public, it reflected her broader push for open dialogue and understanding around issues of sexuality and personal choice. Number 5. A lifelong affair with dance. Born on April 8, 1918, as Elizabeth Ann Bloomer, Betty Ford's enchantment with dancing began when she was just a child in Grand Rapids, Michigan. This wasn't a fleeting hobby, it was a deep-seated passion. By the time she reached her 20s, she had moved to New York City to pursue her dream, studying and working under the tutelage of the renowned Martha Graham, the mother of modern dance. It was here that she was a part of several important performances, including the Carnegie Hall debut of Graham's troupe in 1939. This immersion in the world of dance instilled in her not just physical agility but also qualities of discipline, determination, and an enduring appreciation for artistic expressions. Number 6. Supporting pro-choice. Betty Ford's stance on reproductive rights was undeniably progressive, especially when viewed through the lens of the mid-1970s. She was an outspoken supporter of the Equal Rights Amendment and a woman's right to choose, stating that the decision to have an abortion is up to the mother. Such a stance, coming from a Republican First Lady, was both groundbreaking and contentious. While her position alienated some conservative elements of the Republican Party, it also signaled to many women across America that the topic was not strictly a partisan one and should be approached from a place of personal freedom and choice. Number 7. Breast cancer advocacy. In September 1974, just a couple of months after Gerald Ford assumed the presidency, Betty Ford was diagnosed with breast cancer and underwent a mastectomy. At a time when cancer was often discussed in hushed tones, her choice to openly share her diagnosis and treatment journey was pioneering. By doing so, she destigmatized the disease, raised awareness about early detection, and emphasized the importance of regular medical checkups. Betty Ford's transparency about her health challenges not only provided solace to countless women going through similar experiences but also made significant strides in public education about breast cancer. Number 8. Disagreeing publicly with President Ford. Most First Ladies have been known to support their husbands' political decisions silently or at least refrain from airing disagreements in public. Betty Ford, however, was an exception. She was candid about her disagreements with some of President Ford's policies, especially those relating to women's rights. In one notable instance, while President Ford did not support the Equal Rights Amendment outright, Betty Ford was vocal in her endorsement, creating a visible divide between their positions. Her willingness to voice her dissent showcased her independent spirit and highlighted that she was a political force in her own right. Number 9. Cosmetic surgery confessions. In an age when plastic surgery was not widely discussed in public, let alone confessed to, Betty Ford took another unconventional step. In the late 1970s, she openly talked about undergoing a facelift and breast augmentation. By discussing these procedures openly, she broke significant societal taboos surrounding the topic of cosmetic surgeries. Her honesty, in turn, contributed to the demystification of the procedures and empowered many women to make informed decisions about their bodies without fear of societal judgment. Number 10. Trials that shaped her strength. Life wasn't always kind to Betty Ford, especially in her early years. When she was just 16 years old, a personal tragedy struck with the sudden death of her father, William Stevenson Bloomer. This loss deeply impacted the young Betty, teaching her early on the realities of grief and loss. In her personal life, not all was smooth sailing either. In 1942, she married William Warren, but the union, marred by differences and strains, ended in a divorce in 1947. These trials, rather than breaking her, shaped her resilience, gave her empathy, and fortified her resolve to face and overcome the challenges that life threw at her. Number 11. Criticism of Richard Nixon. The resignation of President Richard Nixon following the Watergate scandal was a significant moment in U.S. history. While most political figures chose to tread lightly around the topic, Betty Ford did not mince words. In various interviews and conversations, she openly expressed her disappointment with Nixon, noting his actions had led to a considerable breach of trust with the American people. Her willingness to criticize, where many others remained silent or neutral, was not only unexpected given her position but also highlighted her unwavering commitment to honesty and integrity, irrespective of party loyalties. Number 12. Receiving the Congressional Gold Medal. The Congressional Gold Medal stands as one of the highest civilian honors in the United States, reserved for individuals who have made a significant impact on American history and culture. In 1999, Betty Ford was awarded this honor in recognition of her tireless advocacy on a range of health and social issues. From addiction recovery to women's rights, her work has left an indelible mark on American society. This award not only acknowledged her individual contributions but also highlighted the broader shifts in social consciousness and policies she helped instigate. Number 13. Public acknowledgement of therapies. Mental health, for a long time, was a taboo topic in the public discourse, with many individuals shying away from discussing their personal experiences. Betty Ford, once again breaking barriers, opened up about undergoing psychiatric therapy. She candidly spoke about its benefits, emphasizing the importance of seeking help when needed. By publicly acknowledging her journey, she played an instrumental role in reducing the stigma associated with mental health treatments. Her revelations made it clear that seeking therapy was not a sign of weakness but rather a testament to one's strength and commitment to self-improvement.